There are only a few fashion houses as instantly recognizable as Gucci. From Alessandro Michele's fluid maximalist designs to the scandalously sexy campaigns from Tom Ford's tenure at the brand. There simply hasn't been a time in recent history where Gucci wasn't the pinnacle of excessive glamour, but it hasn't always been that way. Before big names such as Harry Styles and Dakota Johnson were red carpet superfans, the luxury Italian brand had a far humbler upbringing. If you've ever been curious about the history of Gucci, now is your chance to catch up. We're breaking down the brand's story for you. So watch all the way until the end, because we're about to tell you the story of Gucci along with a few lesser known facts about the iconic fashion house. Gucci was born in Florence, Tuscany on 26 March 1881 to a family of humble Italian leather craftsmen. In 1899, when he was old enough to contribute to the family funds, Gucci started working as a bellboy at the prestigious Savoy Hotel in London. It was here where he became starstruck by the jet-setters from all over the world, carrying their luggage in and out of the hotel. As it was his family trade, Gucci mulled over the idea of providing these upper-class folk with fine Italian leather luggage. He then traveled back home to work for an Italian leather goods company called Franzi. That is, until he broke off to start his very own company years later. In 1921, Gucci founded the House of Gucci in Florence, Italy. The business started as a small family business that mainly sold authentic leather goods and travel gear. However, as business picked up and word spread worldwide about famous Italian leather goods company, Gucci branded out to other equipments too, hence where the famous horse bit symbol originated from. During the 1930s, leather was in short supply due to the League of Nations embargo against Italy. The Guccis were forced to explore other available textiles, which led to the creation of the iconic Gucci GG interlocking diamonds patterned canvas. Eventually, Gucci's sons Aldo, Vasco and Rodolfo began working for the company, and its reputation continued to grow. But according to Women's Wear Daily, in 1935, they hit a snag. There was a League of Nations embargo against Italy, and with leather in short supply, the brand was forced to use a different material. A specially woven canapa, or hemp, was created, and Gucci's now famous interlocking diamond symbol was printed on top of it. As Women's Wear Daily notes, once leather production began picking up following the end of World War II, although Gucci created the brand's first pigskin bag. The material became the fashion house signature, and Gucci's first bamboo-handled bag, which is in the shape of a saddle, is thought to have been created around the same time. By 1951, Gucci had embraced its famous green-red-green stripe detail. The 50s were also a great time for the expansion of Gucci stores. While there were already locations in Florence and Rome, Rodolfo Gucci opened another one in Milan in 1951. Before expanding to the US 2 years later. In his lifetime, Gucci wanted to keep the business within his home country. However, 2 weeks before his passing, his 3 eldest sons opened their first international boutique in New York. Despite Gucci's untimely death, the House of Gucci bloomed in the USA thanks to American celebrities who doted over the luxury label's design. In the years following Gucci's death, the brand continued to see success thanks to his sons. Celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor were photographed carrying bamboo-handled bags, and the horsebit loafers with its iconic double ring and bar was released in 1953. In 1961, after Jacqueline Kennedy was spotted carrying a Gucci bag, the fashion house renamed it the Jackie. Around the same time, it created a logo, initially used to fasten bags, and that is still used today, the famous Double G. Grace Kelly had an influence on Gucci's design as well when she purchased a bamboo-handled bag in 1966. Rodolfo Gucci gifted her a floral scarf made especially for her. The pattern was a commissioned illustration by famed artist Vittorio Accornero and later named the Flora print. More stores in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and another located in New York City which sold clothing popped up in the 70s, and Gucci even entered the beauty space in 1975 with their debut fragrance Gucci No. 1. Gucci held its first ready-to-wear fashion show in 1981. The collection focused heavily on the Flora pattern and took place at the Sala Bianca Palazzo Pitti in Florence, Italy. For the next few decades, Gucci underwent several major changes, as well as some drama. Guccio's grandchildren were working at the company by the early 80s, and the family was feuding about who would be in control. Eventually, Rodolfo's son Maurizio took over, pushing his cousins and uncle Aldo out of the company. In 1989, a holdings company, Investcorp, acquired nearly half of Gucci. Bergdorf Goodman's president, Don Mello, and its head of accessories, Richard Lambertson, were then bought in to give the brand a much-needed boost. The real change though occurred in 1990, when a wildly talented young designer named Tom Ford entered the picture. Initially, he oversaw Gucci's ready-to-wear collection, but became the fashion house creative director in 1994. During that time, Maurizio Gucci sold the rest of his shares to Investcorp. He was murdered a few years later in 1995. To this day, Ford is considered to be the designer who truly revitalized Gucci, incorporating hypersexual designs and campaign imagery. His fall 1995 collection and sleek minimalist 19 designs were a massive commercial success, and celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow, Jennifer Lopez, and Madonna were all photographed wearing his pieces on the red carpet. In 1999, the iconic Jackie bag was relaunched with a few upgrades, quickly becoming the new must-have item that year. In the late 90s, LVMH slowly started purchasing shares of the company, despite pushback from the Gucci's then CEO. However, before the company took over completely, investor François Pinault strategically became the major stakeholder. Pinault Printemps Redoute, or PPR for short, would later be renamed Kering in 2013, and Gucci remains a part of the conglomerate today. In 2004, Ford and CEO Domenico De Sole left the company over contract dispute with PPR, but not before Ford brought Fendi's former handbag designer Frida Giannini into the mix, hoping to bolster Gucci's accessories department. John Ray took over menswear after Ford's departure, while Alessandra Facchinetti handled women's wear. Frida Giannini was later promoted to creative director of accessories. The years following Tom Ford's departure showed significant change for the company, as noted by Business of Fashion in 2006. Giannini was named creative director, and her relaunch of the Flora pattern, instead of focusing on the double G logo, proved massively successful. In 2008, Gucci aired its first ever TV campaign for the Gucci by Gucci scent, which was directed by David Lynch. Gucci by Gucci, Giannini's first men's scent, was launched with campaign star James Franco that same year. The new iconic Flora by Gucci fragrance was launched in 2009. In late 2014, it was abruptly announced that Giannini and CEO Maurizio Di Marco would both be leaving the company. Alessandro Michele, who had already devoted 12 years to the brand, was then announced as the new creative director. The appointment of the relatively unknown accessories designer came as shocking news to many. In his first move as creative director, Michele helped design an entirely new menswear collection in less than a week, according to New York Times. His first women's wear collection debuted a month later on the Milan runway and was an instant success. Marco Bizzarri was also brought in as the new president and CEO of Gucci following Di Marco's exit. In 2017, the company announced its plans to go entirely fur-free and has promised to reduce its environmental impact, including greenhouse gas emissions. All of this by 2025. In 2019, Gucci relaunched its beauty makeup line, Gucci Beauty, and introduced its first unisex fragrance, Mémoire d'une odeur. Most recently, Michele announced in May 2020 that Gucci is embracing seasonless fashion and leaving the structure of Fashion Week behind. It will also be cutting down on shows, going from 5 to just 2 per year. And that was pretty much it for the history of Gucci. If you guys learned something today, or if you're just interested in these iconic brand stories, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, we will upload even more videos. Also, if you don't know already, we already have other videos like this on this channel, so make sure to check those out. And that was pretty much it for today. We will see you in the next video. Take care.